And this is the video review for the Yamato 160 scale VF-1S with super and strike parts from Do You Remember Love. This is the most recent release of this figure, and as such is confirmed to have the fixed shoulder hinge joints. So if you're worried about that, this is the one that came with the pen light. So if you buy the most recent re-release of this figure with the pen light, it is confirmed both by me and by several other people online to have the fixed shoulder joints that don't crack, or at least don't crack as easily underneath here. So you can store the gun pod under here in quite a neat way, and we'll get into that, what I like about that here soon. The head sits much more recessed underneath the bottom of the jet, so it's not sticking out like on the 1/55th scale Chunky Monkey, which we'll compare to when we get to Battroid mode. But just a nice clean Valkyrie. Very cool. You can open up the cockpit, and there is a little removable Roy figure inside. Right in there. I also like how they've kind of coated the cockpit with like this prismatic, reflective coating. It's very cool. It's not just clear. It looks more like a shielded cockpit. It looks more like what you might see on some actual jets. Refractive coating there, but very cool. It just makes it pop a little bit more, and it's really nice. The thrusters. There's a lot of things I like about this figure, and we'll touch base on all of them as we go through all the modes. Now he does come with all of the instead of transforming him like the Bandai Valkyrie, I'm going to go ahead and put the armor on now and then transform him through all three modes. Because you can. Oh, also he comes with various armaments for the jet mode. You get 4 of these little missile pods. You get 4 of these. You get 4 each of these little triple missile clusters. And then you get 2 each of the a double reaction missile attachment and 2 of the single missile reaction missile things. And they have little hard points under here that you can plug these into under the wings in any configuration you want. Just like that. That's kind of neat. That just as an example. Excuse me. So those are the missiles. As for the armor, I'm going to come under here. You want to unpeg these legs. The legs peg in both into the bottom of this. There's a little hole there you can see. Then snap right up in here. You just want to bring the legs down. Then go ahead and pull again. Again, the gun attaches. As you can see, there's a little hole in the middle of the gun. And then there's a couple little tabs with some grooves inside there. That's how the gun attaches. And what's really cool is they've also done it on the here on the arm armor. The arm armor on the inside has these same little tabs, which means you can keep the gun attached while he's. You can reattach the gun under here while he's got the arm guards on, which on a lot of figures before you couldn't. Well, at least okay. I'm thinking of the old Bandai Valkyrie, but you couldn't have that gun attached if the arm guards were on, and here you can. The leg armor, once again, is in 2 pieces. You want to take this piece and attach it here with the gray side facing out. And then there's a couple tabs on the leg armor that you're just going to peg right into that. It's a whole lot easier to do than the old one, on the old Bandai Valkyrie. And then you just bring this up. And again, that tab there is going to peg right into that. So we'll just do the same for this other leg. Okay, snap it in place. Take this and pop it on, just like that. Bring it up and snap it onto there. Easy peasy. And then it's just a matter of flipping these up. Actually, we'll flip this one in first. And this one, the way it's designed, lets that one sit. Then you kind of push this up, flip this up, flip that down. Actually, I want to leave that flipped up for just a second. And then you take this booster pack. I mean, the boosters are removable off of here, but there's really no point. And you want to slide it up, right up under there. There's a couple little grooves to get it into. You just slide it up there until it kind of locks into place, and then the boosters also tab into this backpack bit. And there you have him all armored up in jet mode. Now, I did say super and strike parts, and the only real difference here is you can pull this piece off. And actually, all these are all, you can pull up all the stuff inside. You can actually pull this cover off and see the sensor array inside the tip. Same on this one. You can also pull these covers off on each thing and see the engine detail. Oh, there we go, engine detail. Let me just make sure you see see the sensor arrays in here. I may have had those off camera. I apologize if I do. And you can also pull the cover off of these and see the inner workings of these thrusters, which is all really kind of cool. Extra detail that really didn't need to be there, but they gave you anyway. So that was kind of nice. But anyway, you can pull this front piece off, and you can attach the strike gun over here. So we'll transform him the rest of the way with that gun attached. Again, to go to Gerwalk mode, you just want to fold up the landing gear here. If we can get it in, there we go. Fold that up, close the door. Same down here. Just want to fold this in, close those up, just like that. Then you just want to snap the legs. Come back here, if we can do it. It's usually not this hard. There we go. There we go. And bring the legs down. Just like that. Feet up. Cover popped off there, but that's not a big deal. Yeah. Let's snap that right back on. And then the guns, you go ahead and take the gun off. Bring the arms, you want to bring them down. Bring the shoulder hinge, and you kind of have to pull it down to get it around this little tab. But bring it all the way forward like that. I accidentally unpegged the leg here. We'll just peg that right back into place. There we go. Then again, position the arms. We're going to do the same over here. That's what's wrong. This one came undone. Okay, well, we can fix that, no problem. There we go. Man, I just must not have plugged this back in very well, because you know it doesn't fall off quite that easily. There we go. And once you got that around, I can bring the wings out a little bit more. You just open up the arm covers here and flip out his fists and rotate him. And he does have some posable digits here on the hand. We'll do the same over here. And there's Gerwalk mode. Now the gun does extend. You just pull this back, and then the handle comes down, back, and out to extend to form the full gun. Just to show that again. Get it in there. The gun, extend it, pull the handle down and out. And then you can, it has the same type of peg here in the hand. You can kind of get the finger through there if you're really diligent. It takes some doing. We won't worry about it for right now. But the gun pegs into the hand, and then the hand can wrap around the gun. Once it's all together. Come on, hand. Don't be a patootie. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, whatever, there. You can hold the gun. And so there's Gerwalk mode. Now, we'll go to Battroid mode. Obviously what you want to do is, first thing you want to do is pull the legs off and bring that down like that. You're going to come down here. There's a panel down here. You're going to want to go ahead and open. There we go. Down here, and then there's two little pieces here in the nose that you're going to want to just flip inside. They're loose enough that when you bring them back down, they'll flip back out, but they fold inside for this mode. I'm going to come back here. I find it's easier if you go ahead and take this this armor off, just so you can flip this back and get this panel open. But much like all the others, you're just going to want to pull this, unpeg this, and bring this down around. Now, one of the things that's neat here is, instead of having to swap out the heat shield is actually built up into the chest here. So you want to just kind of push this forward, and you want to make sure you do this before you bring this chest plate down, or you'll end up breaking the heat shield. But just slide that out all the way forward, and then the heat shield will come down. And after you get the head popped up, just like that, you want to kind of bring this around. And when I come down here, and make sure this panel's open again, because you got to take the legs, and this is the tricky part here. I'll straighten them out a little bit. You have to get the this panel to go in between. You want it to go in between this joint right here. Slide it down like that, and then you have to get the these leg pegs down to where those holes were. And it takes a lot of finagling and pushing. There we go. Actually went in fairly easily that time. Then you just flip this up, flip that panel up, flip that back up, and once you get that done, you can go ahead and reattach this. You can leave it on. It's just, I find it's a little easier to get this all arranged without that backpack in the way. So just push it all the way back up, plug it in. And then stand them up. Now bring the wings down behind here. Bring the arms down and around. Just like that. And of course, push the head on the neck back and down. And there you have him in Battroid mode. Very cool. Neat. As you can see, much more anime accurate. There is a gap here in the chest, but it's nothing serious. And then the strike gun here is on a hinge that you can fold it down over his shoulder, which is kind of cool. I'll just try to get him to stand here straight. He's a little back heavy with the backpack, so you kind of have to be a little bit more careful with his legs. He does like to lean backwards some, but you can get him to stand fairly stably. Let's back this camera up just a little bit more so you can see the whole thing. And then just a quick size comparison with the Chunky Monkey. You can see he's not much shorter and much more anime accurate proportions. This is much more solid toy. I mean, like I said, this guy you could throw at a wall and he could take it. I wouldn't do it with him, but a very solid toy. And I really think this is just a much nicer toy overall. It's like, again, the proportions are much more accurate to the show, and everything is here. You don't have to bring any extra parts. Like with him, you can't attach the gun while he's got the arm armor on in fighter mode. You have to switch out the heat shield, whereas the heat shield's built in. He does come with some extra hands if you want. He's got one set of extra hands, one to hold the gun, and a kind of open hand that can, I guess, support the gun. I think they look almost too big In comparison, I like the posability and the functionality of the hands that are included. Plus, again, you don't have to carry extra pieces. The only really extra pieces you'd have to have with you, if you really wanted to, is if you want to attach the missiles in jet mode. Those obviously don't stay on once you get here into Battroid mode. But you can have a fully functional transforming mech without any extra pieces. I love the integration of this heat shield into the canopy. This piece right here just really makes it a lot better in the way the hands flip out, and the ability to store the gun in fighter mode with the armor on. So just overall a very, very nice figure, and definitely worth picking up. It's got the fixed shoulder joints. There's not a whole lot of complaints I have with him, aside from the fact, like, again, that leg joint went in a lot easier that time. Thankfully, that's the one time I think something's gone right in a video review as opposed to wrong. Usually it takes a little bit more wrestling to get those legs down into place. You can also remove these covers, but I don't see the point. You can see the fan turbines a lot like on Masterpiece Starscream. You can see the fans and the legs for the turbines there, but I just don't see the point of removing those covers. I like the way they look. So there you have it. The Yamato 160 to scale VF-1S with Super and Strike parts.